It's time for another look at the Premier League title, UEFA qualification, and safety races going into game week 13. If you're playing Fantasy Premier or any sports league really and want to get all sorts of geeky data on it, check out the PlayoffComputer app on the Play Store. It is what is being used here as the base for this analysis. On to the title and UEFA races. With everyone except for Liverpool stumbling a bit, the mathematical line for them to be relatively safe for the title is a paltry 82 points. Looking at the team somewhat in title and UEFA contention, starting with Liverpool, who took care of business against Southampton, even if just barely. They're now 8 points up on their closest competitor, and of course that closest competitor is Manchester City, which they play at home, a big opportunity to really run away with things here. As of now, 42% mathematical chance to win the title, and about 8 in 10 to qualify for UEFA. Of course, next up is that Manchester City team who are spiraling out of control. Their latest loss to the Spurs. Now down to a 10% chance to win the title, 4 in 10 for UEFA. And of course, that big match with Liverpool coming up. Chelsea up next after beating Leicester at 22 points, still in it, but obviously needs to make up ground. A couple of tough games sandwiched around Southampton with Aston Villa on tap next. Right now at 7% for the title and 36% for UEFA. Arsenal got back on the winning track with a win over Nottingham Forest, also at 22 points and also 7% for the title. One thing in their favor is they now have finished their first round with all of the current top 8 teams and have only played 4 teams in the bottom half of the table. So definitely some potential to claw back closer to the top if Liverpool falters. Brighton continues to hang around as well at 22 points, and another team that has some opportunities to keep the good vibes going as they have played all the top 7 teams already and have some point-starved opponents coming up, starting with Southampton this week. The Spurs, with that big win over Manchester City, find themselves at least in the UEFA hunt. Bit better than 1-5 odds. Still outside chances at the title if they really get going. Host Fulham this week. Nottingham Forest, with the loss to Arsenal, finds their dream season starting to unravel. Still decent odds at UEFA and plays Ipswich this week to try to get back on track. Aston Villa tied Crystal Palace last week, which isn't going to help their chances. They have now played most of the bottom half of the table the first time. Big game with Chelsea next to try to stay in the picture. Moving on to the opposite end of the field, the race for safety. Somewhere within the vicinity of 44 points should be a safe mark to aim for. Southampton still at only 4 points, but any win would give them hope. Just a 40% chance of escape. Continues a tough stretch with Brighton and Chelsea coming up. Crystal Palace in danger of being the disappointment team of the year. Did tie Aston Villa to at least pick up a point. Now 6 in 10 chances of safety. Newcastle up next. Ipswich with a tie to get to 9 points and a reasonable chance to surprise the experts and stick around for next year. close to 2 out of 3 mathematically speaking. Nottingham Forest this week. The Wolves also at 9 points as well, but look at who they've played so far. All but one of the top half of the table in the books. So they will get plenty of opportunities to try and pick up some points. Leicester, with the loss to Chelsea, stayed at 10 points. Good enough for 7 out of 10 odds to be safe. Play Brentford this week. Everton, the last team still in the picture for possible trouble at the moment, have 11 points, but contrary to some of the other teams, they haven't yet played much of the top half of the table yet. So some challenges ahead. As of now, 3 out of 4 to stay out of trouble. That's it for now. Enjoy your day.